All right. Welcome, Dr. Mike and Ziegler of Monarch Family Chiropractic. And it is Thanksgiving week. It is one of my favorite weeks because, I think a gratitude practice is always important. And intention and setting intention and where energy goes, energy flows. And so while the focus intentionally on a day-to-day basis is to practice gratitude, and you'll understand why as we get into it. There's something about this week that there's a more, national movement or national energetic state of people being in gratitude. And I think you can just feel it. Hey, do you guys mind talking in a lower voice for me, please? Sorry about that. So I love Thanksgiving. It is a time to be in gratitude. It is time to be in connection with those that you feel most joy-filled with their presence. And, that's where when we talk about the gratitude and what it does to our health and what it does to our brain, I think you'll understand why we like this week and being connected to those people who are truly uplifting. So gratitude, I first want you to understand that when we're talking about gratitude, we're talking about a heartfelt gratitude. It is appreciation. It is thankfulness. And this is what the science says. When we feel and express gratitude, it turns our mental focus to the positive, which compensates for our brain's natural tendency to focus on threats, worries, and negative aspects of life. So let's just pause there for a second. We have a natural tendency within our nervous system to be ready to perceive and respond to threats. Okay, that is where, when the winter months get cold, our bodies and our choices that we make, we tend to, pack on more weight just because of it's colder. Historically, would we be able to find food, our ability to survive in the colder months? We need to have more insulation to protect ourselves from the cold. So, we are naturally designed to be responding to a threat so that we can survive. And so when we focus and shift our mental state to a gratitude, it creates positive emotions like joy, love, contentment, which research shows undoes the grip of negative emotions like anxiety. And I think we can all agree that anxiety is something that is more prevalent, right? So if we foster gratitude within our day-to-day practice, it can broaden our mind and create cycles of thinking and behaving in healthy, positive ways. So one way to do that is keeping a gratitude journal. And some research that came out where they looked at two groups. One group carried a journal and they wrote their gratitudes on a daily basis. And I can't remember if they studied these guys for 30 days or 60 days, but they assessed their mental state after that practice of keeping a gratitude diary for, I think it was around 5 minutes a day, just writing 5 things they're grateful for. And they found that the people in the gratitude group, control, didn't have any gratitude practice, had more positive views of their life. They reported more positive mood, less negative moods, had greater satisfaction in their lives, and improved sleep in both amount and quality. So I think we can all agree that sleep is vital and important for health. So just being intentional with having some level of gratitude practice can change how you experience and perceive the world, shift your mind into less negative experiences, and improve your sleep. I think that's pretty great. So feeling and experiencing heartfelt gravity. Now, there's something called the HeartMath Institute. They do some really cool things to measure heart rate variability. And heart rate variability is looking at the teeny tiny gaps of time within your heart beating. We should see, these micro changes within these time frames. We should not have a rhythmic, constant heart rate. It should be changing. And when you have this variability, it means we are more highly adaptive and responsive. And so these guys studied the psychoneuroimmunology. So your brain and its connection to your immune system, in addition to how you perceived your world. So the psychological component. And they found that when you repeatedly practice heart-focused, sincere, positive feeling states, it boosts your immune system. And get this, a negative emotion can suppress the immune system for up to 6 hours following the emotional experience, one emotional experience. So just sit with that for 1 second. Because how easy is it for us to experience a negative emotion? How easy is it for us to be in our car and have somebody not use a blinker or cut us off or follow us too closely and have a negative experience? Or take something personally that we heard or that we saw that we felt was directed towards us. So that one negative experience, just one alone, can create a negative emotion that suppresses our immune system for up to 6 hours. And so my question for you is, as you're thinking about your day, and if you're not setting yourself up to be intentional and to be in a state that is one that lends towards a positive, more loving, more joyful, more connected experience, how many negative emotions and experiences could you possibly be having on a day-to-day basis? And if you have enough of them in a row cumulatively, how can that impact your immune system? And when your immune system is suppressed day in and day out because of how you perceive and experience your world, how is it able to handle and respond just day-to-day exposure to colds, viruses, bacteria, whatever? Are we more likely to be sick more frequently and more often? Are we less likely able to adapt and recover in a more timely fashion? I find that just this piece alone is so profound and significant. And if it doesn't, maybe give you a little motivation to find a gratitude practice, I hope it does. Because let's continue here with what they found. A cascade of 1,400 different biochemicals are released by the body as soon as we sense a stressful emotion. Okay, 1,400. It's kind of like, I'm going to compare this to how many muscles it takes to smile versus how many muscles it takes to frown. Like, takes significantly more muscles to frown, right? So negative emotions keep your immune system bathed in stress hormones, which speeds up your biochemical aging clock, draining emotional buoyancy and physical vitality. So when you are experiencing negative emotional state and perceiving experiences as negative, it's dropping your ability to age in a healthy, vitalistic way. And it's really changing your experience in terms of how you perceive your world and lending you more towards anxiety and stress and chronic disease. And so the HeartMath Institute assesses your psychoneuroimmunology health, your P&I, through heart rate variability measurements. And I want you to think of that HRV measurement as your core score that we do in the office. And that is really assessing at a resting state. Does your physiology, does your neurology, think that it's under threat? Is it ready to respond to a threat? Just when you're sitting comfortably in that room back there that has no sound, right? It's very quiet. Does it believe it's under stress? And so let's just talk about the coherence. I love the term coherence. Coherence in terms of health, it's the mental, emotional, physical state where the mind, heart, nervous system align and function in a higher degree of balance and harmony. You have trillions of cells within your body, trillions, and all of them are working for you to better adapt and respond to what's going on around you. And again, a negative experience creates a biochemical bath of stress hormones, which changes those cells' function, the cell's ability to respond to your world. And so coherence, I want you to think about those trillions of cells are like, a flock of geese or a school of hundreds of fish, hundreds of fish, yes, a school of hundreds of fish, right? They're each individual, and yet together they work as one system in harmony and in balance. That's your trillions of cells. And so we know that when you are in a state of heartfelt gratitude, when you are practicing a gratitude practice, it is changing your mental focus to one that is positive. It is creating, positive emotions like love, joy, contentment, which undoes the negative aspects of an experience. And it actually improves your health, improves your heart rate variability, improves how you respond to your environment, which in the long run, your trajectory can shift and change your ability to experience a chronic disease. So it's really profound and wonderful when you look at, the things that you can do. I'm going to jump to this. I love this map of consciousness. Do you guys know who David R. Hawkins is? He's this gentleman who had this experience where, you hear about, these people who have experiences where they were left unconscious or they were sleeping and they felt the divine like downloaded information into like directly into them, and they felt this need and desire to, I need to share this with the masses. This is one of those examples with Dr. David R. Hawkins. And so with his experience and the work that he's done, I mean, this happened to him, and then he went on to research and bring science alongside his experience. And so he created this map of consciousness. Now, I want you to think about these higher levels. Let me back up. So when you experience an emotion or an emotional state, we can attach an energetic frequency to that emotion. And so typically when we experience lower energetic states, that tends to attach to things like fear, anger, shame, hate, right? Even as I say those words, it brings about an energy versus words like joy, love, acceptance, peace, right? These higher energetic states bring about a different type of experience. And so what David R. Hawkins found was that, on average, the world is at a pretty low energetic state. Like we're right on the line of neutrality, right? If you're looking at this courage and neutrality, I think we're actually around this 175. I'll have to go back to what I've some of his readings, but on average in the world, we're actually at a lower energetic state in terms of cumulatively what we are all experiencing. If you take the people who are pretty high level functioning and pretty low level, you take that average, and we're not quite neutral. We're actually dropping into these lower energetic states. Every time, and that's, I think, why I love Thanksgiving, because it is an intentional state by the masses to be in a state of gratitude and connection and joy, which is really experienced differently on a much bigger level. But when you create a heartfelt gratitude practice, you're really moving yourself into a different state to experience some of these higher levels of emotional state, really evolving and growing. Now, we're never in one state, right? It's not like you reach joy and then you're there, right? We are in a spectrum, right? Every decision we make will put us towards health or put us towards disease. So heart rate variability can shift us into a more state of, threatening response, physiological, neurological response to respond and adapt. And then we want to shift back to recovery. So what you do on a day-to-day basis to help elevate your consciousness to experience, some of these higher levels to really impact your life and your vitality and your health, can be really impactful, I guess is what I'm stating there. But I want you to recognize that when you do experience, let's go back to that negative emotional experience. When you have that, it drops you in terms of your consciousness, what you're able to experience, your energetic state. And where energy goes, energy flows. And so sometimes and I think this can be seen with the masses, but it's easy to shift into a negative emotional state, fear, anger, frustration, and really snowball into it. It takes a lot of work to get yourself out of it. Kind of like, what's the saying? It can take a lifetime to build back trust. If something occurs and it creates a disconnect in a relationship where you lose that trust, it takes a lot of work to rebuild that. So when you're in a negative state, you can snowball into that, because everything around us, not only are we wired to be responsive and survive and to look for threats, but fear sells, right? Keeping us in a negative state sells. We're not interested in what the random acts of kindness that are happening, all day, every day, thousands and thousands that are happening all around the globe. We're not interested in those stories, but we're interested in, the bad things that are taking place. So you look at what we see and what we hear on a regular basis and where our interests lie. And it was really shifting us into this lower state of consciousness. And so that's where having a gratitude practice can really take discipline and a commitment on a day-to-day basis to change, what we perceive and how we experience the world, change our mental focus. And when we do, it's hugely impactful, but it just takes a lot of work. So one thing I wanted to share with you here that I don't have on the PowerPoint here, let's go back here, that I don't have on the PowerPoint is, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Emoto experiments. This is a Japanese researcher. His name is Masaru Emoto. And what he did is he actually put frozen water. He would attach labels to water in a frozen state, and then he would look at the water under the microscope. And what he found was truly fascinating. I'm going to see if I can show this to you. So when he put the words like, let's find one, love and gratitude on some, I'll show you this. I want you to see that this down here is love and gratitude. Okay. This is dream. This is exhilaration. And this right here is peace. And what you're not really seeing very well is just this intricate detail and this gorgeous pattern that is created by these frozen water molecules under specific words. But I want you to see this. So just like positive, loving words can create, a beautiful state, so can negative ones. So this one here is I can do it. And this one here is I can't do it. Very different. And just so you know, we're made up of 70% plus water. So when we have negative talk and how we speak to ourselves, if it is, and what we know is, especially when we look at women's self-talk is highly negative. Again, we are shown what a woman should look like, and this standard that we need to meet. And so when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we're looking at it ourselves with a very critical eye. And so our inner self-talk, we find, is often very negative for women, for young girls. And we also know that we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and majority of those thoughts are the exact same thoughts. So again, you can start to see how intentional and disciplined it takes to start shifting our focus on a regular basis. But if we are speaking to ourselves in a very, harmful way, this here is dislike. And this here is happiness. You can see how it can fragment our cells in our body. Let me show you. Here's another one. This is energetic, and this is exhaustion. So when you are in a fatigued, exhausted, overwhelmed state, know that your cells in your body are totally exhausted. Here's another one right here. This is hopeless. As I'm looking at these negative statements and these negative words, it literally looks like some of these crystalline water, how the water crystalline shapes take on. Some of them look like they're exploding or imploding. This is heartbreaking. This top one is beautiful. And this one is ugly. So you can start to see how powerful the words that you use to describe yourself, to describe the ones that you love, how they can impact you. This is mom. I'm sorry, this is dad, and this is mom. So I share this with you because I find it fascinating when we're talking about a gratitude practice, and we talk about how can we create positive, heartfelt feelings around our experience in the world, but also how can we create heartfelt, positive feelings and experiences directed towards ourselves, right? Because we are worth it, and we are worthy, and we are enough in every way. And it's just, the world is out to tear us down in a way. And we are so much more than that. And that's my hope that you're getting from this conversation, is that being in a state of gratitude can shift your mental focus in a way where you can experience the world differently, but maybe you can experience your connection to yourself differently. So I want to end with this, because this is from Louise Hay. If you know her, she's was an amazing woman. She has written many books, has a profound personal story where she came out of abuse and healed from some significant past trauma to really come to be in love with herself and the world. And so this is from her book, Gratitude, A Way of Life. And I'm just going to read it out loud. And as I'm reading this, I guess I just ask you to close your eyes and just sit with the words here. Gratitude brings more to be grateful about. It increases your abundant life. Lack of gratitude or complaining brings little to rejoice about. Complainers always find that they have little good in their life, or they do not enjoy what they have. The universe always gives us what we believe we deserve. For quite some time now, I've been accepting every compliment and every present I accept with joy and pleasure and gratitude. I've learned that the universe loves this expression, and I constantly get the most wonderful presents. When I awaken in the morning, the first thing I do before I even open my eyes is to thank my bed for a good night's sleep. I am grateful for the warmth and comfort it has given me. From the beginning, it is easy to think of many, many more things I am grateful for. By the time I'm out of bed, I've probably expressed gratitude for 80 to 100 different people, places, things, and experiences in my life. This is a great way to start the day. That is Louise Hay. So I share that because it doesn't need to be a regimen of gratitude practices, but it does really require an intention and a shift in mental focus. And I will tell you that it is worth it. You are worth it, because when you choose to practice in a more heartfelt gratitude state, you're really saying yes to you. You're saying yes to life. And you're saying yes to, a different trajectory in terms of what you can and will experience. You're saying yes to physical vitality. You're saying yes to, yes, you have the chronological age, but you're saying yes to a healthy biological vitalistic age, right? You could be chronologically 50, but at the cell level, you could be functioning at 30, right? What you choose to do on a daily basis will bathe your cells in love, in gratitude, in sincere, positive emotional states, or it will bathe yourselves in a stress state. It's your choice, and only you can do it. And so I will stop there. Thank you for being with me tonight. I am truly grateful for everybody who is here, who chooses to get chiropractic care, because when you get chiropractic care, you're reconnecting your brain to your body, and your brain's better able to process, less stress on your body, and you're able to do things, like see more clearly. And so these gratitude practices don't seem nearly as unattainable. I am so grateful to be in community with each and every one of you. I love what I do. And, I left a career in engineering because it was not fulfilling. I really love to work with people. And I found that chiropractic is a great way for me to do that. And so for you being here with me tonight, or being here in the practice and being consistent with your chiropractic care, it fills up my cup to see you move toward greater levels of health and vitality, and to be more educated, and to choose to do more healthy, vitalistic things on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do what I love to do. But more than that, thank you for taking responsibility for your health, changing what could be in terms of your expression of health. And for those of you who choose to share that with your family and friends, thank you. So happy Thanksgiving from Monarch Family Chiropractic. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week, but have a wonderful time connecting with those that bring you most joy. And, if you have questions,